today what we're going to do is we're going to give our students an opportunity to present their final project for a collaboration between Betty's art class, their design class, and my object-oriented programming class, my CIS class. What we asked them to do is come together and work on building a collaborative project. Now, what would be more fun to do as a collaborative project than to actually build a video game? What they had to do is the design students had to come in and design how the game is going to work, what it's going to look like, how it's going to be laid out on the screen, what all the graphic assets are going to be, what all the images and everything are going to be, and they had to build those from scratch. Likewise, the object-oriented programming class had to write all the code to make this work. They had to start from scratch and write all the code using the object-oriented techniques that we've been learning about, not only in this class, but all the previous classes up to this point.
It turned out with the time constraints that we kind of had to simplify it a little bit, so it turned out to be basically a war game. So it starts out, if you want to click rules or how to play.
We included those buttons because obviously people might not know how to play the game, so they have to have a way to figure out, one, the rules of the game, how do you win, and then we have another button up there. I'll go ahead and open that. It's just the how to play, and it gives you an idea because you look at this board and you think, okay, well this looks cool, but I don't know how to play, I don't know how to make anything do anything, so these are just a few basic steps on how to go about playing the game. And if you see there, it says step 1 is to click the bottom deck of cards, which is player 1, and we actually made this to be a 2-player game, so you could play this with your friends. Say like if it was to go on an iPad, you could be sitting on one side and click on your deck to play your card, and your friend could be on the other side and hit on their deck to play their card to go and play the round. So we'll go ahead and show you guys a couple rounds of how this is played. So it might be a little small for you guys to see, but first clicked on here, played this, and all of this artwork you see here was designed by these guys. So one of the big things that we learned through this process is that you might start with one idea, but then you might have to scrap that and kind of go towards something else. Like originally our idea was to go with that Hearthstone game, and the way that it ended up is we originally had hands. Each player would have a hand. They would choose which card from their hand that they would want to play down, and then while you have cards on the deck, on the playing field, you could choose to attack the player or attack the cards. And it was really ambitious. We were really excited to get going on that, but because of time constraints, we realized that we might not have enough time to program all of that different stuff in there, and that's kind of where we implemented the idea of war instead, where you just click on the decks and then the highest number card with the highest attack would win, instead of having hands and attacking players, attacking cards. So that was a big move for us. We basically had to scrap what we originally started with and start over. And that was hard for them as well because they originally had a different board layout and they had to scrap what they were doing as well. So we really learned how to work as a team and how to implement new ideas.
So we decided instead of having like the deck of cards out, and we were gonna have like a little graveyard for if you lost, like your cards would go to the graveyard. Instead of all that, we decided to take the 4 corners and like have fun with it and put, you know, cartoon aspects to it to resemble the cards. It resembles more of the characters on the cards.
So these are the cards. How they're laid out was definitely a big decision. We really wanted to get like really in detailed with them and stuff, but with time constraints, we sort of had to simplify them. Originally, every one of these cards had an attack and defense because our original idea for the game was to play a card and have them be able to choose who you got to attack on the other team. So you could choose to either attack the opponent's card or the actual opponent. But with that kind of idea, it was too complicated. So we had to simplify it to where they had one solid attack and defense. And that's where we came up with the shield and swords idea, so it sort of represented both. And then we decided to keep the background of the animals simple.
I think it was really cool for the design team that, I mean, we sit here and do stuff on the computer all the time and make really cool art, but to like actually see it come alive is amazing. And especially since we're still in school and, you know, this is what, maybe not exactly this, but this is what we get to look forward to when we graduate.
It was cool to be part of the process, just working with another group that is in programming, because we haven't really done that yet. So just to be a part of the process and realize that what you start with isn't set in stone. Obviously, like Ryan said, we pretty much changed the game completely other than just the characters. That's pretty much the only thing at stake because the design all completely changed. So just to get that experience, because in the real world, you're never going to be working just by yourself. You have to work with other people. So it was really cool to get that experience.